Okay, Hazleton City Council regular meeting will come to order Tuesday, March 10th, 2015. Let's rise for a moment of silent meditation. Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Bast, Cassatt,
Here.
Mope,
Here.
Sosar,
Here.
Mundy.
Here. First on our agenda is approving the minutes of the previous meeting, December 11, 2014 regular meeting and December 17, 2014 special meeting.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next is proclamations, communications, none. Next is courtesy of the floor regarding matters on our agenda.
Norman Tarantino, 154 North Lee Court, Hazleton. First question that comes to my mind is, where is our solicitor this evening? Was he ordered not to be here, or is he just not?
He's on vacation, though.
Oh, okay. Just double checking.
Yeah.
Secondly, regarding the ordinance regarding the BOB regulations you're making, I still think there needs to be a differentiation between a restaurant that wants to open and needs to be BYOB versus an after-hour nightclub or a club that's going to be open until 3, 4 in the morning and trying to open that way. And I also wanted to know, would the existing clubs that are there prior to this be able to use ex post facto to claim that they still can operate and don't have to abide by the new ordinances?
No, I think everybody's going to have to, everybody that comes under this is going to have to abide by the new rules. And the rules say, I think we're setting it to 11, right?
Yes.
So it's going to be 11.
So they can't say their prior operating practices are still inherent because
No.
they're operating beforehand?
No.
Okay, just double checking. And I just want to make sure to find out about the appointment for the sewer authority. Did that come from council, or is that from the mayor who charged Mr. Sandrock?
That's going to be from council.
From council. All right. Just want to let council know also that for any appointments in the future, I'm still offering my services available to the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Norman. Anybody else? Just on the agenda only? Next, old business ordinances. Ordinance 2015-3, amending ordinance 2013-12, adopting the quality of life and violations ticket process in the city of Hazleton. Second reading.
Present. Second.
On the question? Does anybody have any questions for Mike?
No, but I'm going to say I'll be abstaining from anything that's on code or zoning or anything with the police department until our zoning hearing goes through. So.
Okay. Okay. Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Third reading?
Present. Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstaining.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is ordinance 2015-5, an ordinance directing, regulating, and providing provisions relating to bring your own bottle BYOB activities in the city of Hazleton, entitled Hazleton City BYOB Ordinance, second reading.
Present. Second.
On the question?
I have a few amendments that I'd like to make.
Okay.
On that handout I gave you, under the definitions, on page 3, I'd like to remove the definition for BYOB facility restricted area. On the following page, section 4, in the section F, I'd like to change municipal codes to municipal laws and codes. Section 5, Section H, or Paragraph H. Again, the word municipal codes, I'd like to change to municipal laws and codes. Section 6, Paragraph A. I would like to take out the sentence that says that the facility business owners, event organizers, business managers, as well as offering patrons may be prosecuted for violation of this provision. Under Section 6, Paragraph B, where it says in contact, I would like to change it to coming into physical contact. Same paragraph. I'd like to change the second sentence where entertainers on the interior of the premises shall not be visible from outside premises to entertainers in the interior of a BYOB establishment's building shall not be visible from outside that building. Section 11, in the title, I'd like to change a minimum of to for a period of 6 months. And I would like to, in Section 11, I'd like to remove failure to comply with these provisions constitute an administrative violation and shall be automatic grounds for a revocation regardless of criminal procedure findings and or judgment decisions of summary violations. And the revocation decisions are administrative and shall be made by the chief of police or his or her designee and as such are applicable to any court. In Section 12, I'd like to remove the sentences that the city may take summary action to close the property without complying with the notification provision of Pennsylvania Rules of Civil Procedure, but still shall provide such notice as responsible under circumstances. And then we'd like to put in a second and subsequential request. Should a qualified applicant who has successfully received a BYOB special event permit request for a second or subsequent BYOB special operations permit during the same calendar year, the fee shall be waived.
Where you want to put that? Where did you want to put that?
That just would fit in within the fees. Section 9.
Did Bob take a look at these? Did you get a chance?
I sent it. Did Bob, do you know if Bob,
Chief?
do you know if Bob got a hold of this? He was on vacation. I don't know when
I know Bob's on vacation.
he was on vacation since last.
I don't know how long ago I know that I reviewed them, having come from the Harrisburg law. They all seem to
They're okay
to
with
make
them, Chief?
absolute total sense. They're good catches. The one thing I did notice was I thought that last time we did this, we entered a grandfathering clause, and I don't see the grandfathering clause in this one.
No, actually, I don't think we voted.
I don't remember
I
a
don't think we voted on
grandfathering
that.
clause from last time,
Or-
Chief.
or,
What are you
or did that
talking about
come
with that?
after? I know that Bob had sent the,
I think he was requesting it to be read at the meeting that was canceled.
okay, if that's the case, then maybe we want to see if we put the grandfathering in here before we pass this one.
Do you have a copy of it?
I can get it. I thought that because it was forwarded by the solicitor,
I didn't see it. I didn't get it. That I didn't see, Chief.
I may have it from...
Do you know what it says?
yeah, it is basically, that states once this ordinance goes into effect, no different than the IPMC, there is no grandfathering, and that from the date that this goes into effect,
I think that's maybe Mike could say that there is no grandfathering, right, Mike?
But there,
It has to be.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Right, without it in the ordinance.
Yeah.
Which is why it was spelled specifically out to go into a grandfathering section to say that no properties or businesses within the city of Hazleton will be grandfathered once this is accepted.
Well,
Want to insert it?
you want to insert, you insert a grandfathering clause, or do you don't, you want the exact,
I'm sorry.
you want the exact
Wording.
wording, or do you know what the wording is, or the clause, or?
The specific wording that was approved by the solicitor, I can't recite.
We could just put it in, because it was the way, as the solicitor had sent it to us.
Yeah,
We'll make, okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Right.
we'll add it.
Just
Right.
As the
word it as
solicitor.
the solicitor
Only
said.
2 sentences, but he was very specific with
Yes.
what he
Okay.
felt needed to be.
We'll include them in our amendments.
Okay, we'll make-
His wording.
Thank you.
I'll make that amendment too. I'd like to add the grandfathering clause as worded and approved by the
our
solicitor.
Okay,
Okay, so that's a total of 11 amendments.
okay. You're presenting the amendments?
Yes.
Second?
I'll second those.
Second? Okay. On the question on the amendments?
Just on the question of the amendments, I'm not sure where, now, I would think, Jeff, we would need to put the grandfathering clause probably following Section 10 to deal with specifics on that, and then bump everything else on down to a 12 and a 13. Is
I'm
that a
sure-
grandfather? I mean, a grandfather clause is not really. I think you got to put it into its own section as what you want to do here. So let's,
We'll put it in as the solicitor suggested.
Yeah.
as,
this
but as the
ready to go-
solicitor suggested,
Yeah.
but its own section.
And we all did get a copy of it last week.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
As worded by.
As worded, yes.
Okay, roll call on the amendments?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes,
Mundy.
Yes. That's second reading. Third reading?
Oh, that was the
That-
amendments.
that
That was the
the
amendment, I'm
I'll second
sorry.
it.
On the second reading?
the only thing that I just want to say before I vote, and I did have a problem, and in fact, I spoke to a few people beforehand about the differences in an establishment versus the charity, and because of the time limitations of this, I'm still going to keep it as it is. We had changed it last time to 25 and 25. And I'm going to keep it at that and vote for it as that because of the time limitations of the hours. The hours, I think, I hope a wholehearted enforcement of hours will make part of the difference of this. I don't want to hurt charities involved in something like this, but if it was my druthers, I would raise the price, but I understand where I think some of my other colleagues are coming from, so I'll agree to it as it is. Thank you.
Okay, roll call on the second reading?
Present.
No,
it
wasn't-
was
it was
Cassatt and
presented.
Sosar. Yeah,
I presented it, he
and
seconded
I
it.
seconded
Second
it, so
reading,
now
so
we're
roll
at the
call.
vote.
We're on roll call.
Roll call on the second reading.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes,
Mundy.
Yes. Third reading
I'll present.
I'll second.
on the question? Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes,
Mundy.
Yes. Next is resolutions. Resolutions none. New business ordinance, ordinance 2015-7, an ordinance approving the consolidated strategy for housing and community development programs for fiscal years 2015 to 19, an action plan for fiscal year 2015 and revision for fiscal year 2014. Budget. First reading.
I'll present it.
Second? Oh, okay.
Okay, Jeannie, second. On the question,
I just have one question.
go ahead. Fallon?
Is there any way that some of this money would be able to go towards, say, the streetlight project? If it was targeted just as a safety feature for low?
We can't do that. It has to be in low mod areas, but yes, we could. It would be considered a street improvement.
Street improvement. And can any of this money be used to in the future, fund a land bank to help these properties that are going into the tax sales before the stop this?
You can do a land bank, but there has to be an end use for the property. We can't just purchase it and just let it sit there. We would have to say we can sell to low mod families. That could be one of the end uses. Or if it's too bad, maybe we can demolish it and make it a green space, something to that effect.
As long as there's a project targeted?
Yes, there has to be an end use to it.
And when you're doing your next budget that comes up, I know that we had spoke back and forth with emails. I'd like to see more money, if possible, to low income, like senior citizens and whatnot, so that they can do winterization on their properties.
Oh, sure.
Windows, roofs, because they're barely making it. They're barely paying their bills when there's something that has to be done. So I'd like to see some money go towards that, more than what I've been seeing,
Okay.
Fallon, I'm looking under targeted crime prevention, low and moderate areas in the city. I know that last time we worked on Broad to Hawley, and I think it was from Wyoming over towards Cedar, if I'm not mistaken. Do we have any idea where this particular area might, the moderate to low income might be this time, or is that
I can get
still
you a
in the
map
planning
for where
stages?
exactly they can go now. Because of the last census, things have changed. There are all but 3
Right.
sections that are low mod. So pretty much there's a whole area that they can go now, but I can email you the map.
Okay, have we, as a matter of fact, right now, looked at, because of the new census numbers, have we looked at redoing our whole picture of the map of the city on low and moderate income overall? I know we talked about that back in, I think it was the summer of last year, and some of those numbers were just getting ready to come on in. Obviously, I would think that they're in by now. Have we done anything with those numbers to update and cover the new areas that we need
Oh,
to?
yes, I have.
Okay.
According to the 2014, when they did like the police patrols, anything that is in a low mod area was according to the last census and the map. I believe I sent one to you all, but I can send it again.
If you know what,
Yeah.
I
could-
life gets kind of
Oh,
crazy
absolutely. I
sometimes.
can resend
If I
it.
could maybe stop down even and get
Sure.
it from you, or if you can send it to me by email or something, I'd love
I
to
can
see
do
it
both,
again.
whatever you
That
prefer.
would be a
That's
help.
fine. Yeah.
That would be a help. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, ordinance 2015-8, an ordinance requiring Hazleton City work authorization permits for certain items, ones covered by ordinance 2009-16, previously rescinded, and ordinance 2013-11 regarding exemptions to the Pennsylvania Uniform Construction Code, and rescinding ordinance 2013-11. First reading.
Present.
Second. On the question? Mike, you? That's the chief, okay. Chief, could you come up to the podium and explain a little bit? Both of you could, yeah, if you
Sure.
want.
I defer most of my comments to him anyway,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
I have one to get started with. And I know that we have the building permits already, right, Mike?
Correct.
That one has to get to do most of the work that you want to do on houses for improvements. I'm not sure, and please explain to me, because you're talking to a guy who's never. If I hit a nail with a hammer, I'm going to hit this nail 2 out of the 3 times.
Maybe,
So
excuse
please
Dave,
explain
maybe
to
we
me
could
why
just
that
explain what we're
$60
doing
is there.
here, yeah, what we're doing here.
All we know is this has already been passed, but it wasn't in proper order or form with respect to the items that are covered under the ordinance. In other words, the old ordinance had all fences. Under UCC, it's not all fences, 6 foot and under. And it's just spelled out, it's right out of the Uniform Construction Code. which
So we
was-
haven't been
wasn't
covering
in
all
the
those
past.
before?
Pardon me?
We haven't been covering all of those before.
It was in the wrong form.
Okay.
It was a legal nightmare. And all we did was cleaned it up.
There's no new fees involved here, correct?
There's a fee involved. However, the fee is less than the Uniform Construction Code fee. That would be a minimum of $74 and can go up to thousands of dollars. Here it's a standard fee, $60 for any permit. That covers our administrative costs and our inspection costs. And it's a reasonable fee.
So this will actually save people money rather than cost them more.
Right off the
Because I
bat.
just don't want to, what I was afraid of as a $60, I thought this was a $60 increase for a minute.
No,
there.
no, no.
And I don't want to see people who are trying to improve their homes actually suffer a penalty for that.
And this allows the homeowners and contractors to be honest when they come in and fill out their applications.
Sure.
Because they know it was a sliding scale before.
Okay.
And they're coming in, putting in 3 windows, 2 doors, and it's
Right.
$200.
Right.
And the fee is minimal, and we still have the same amount of work. So a flat fee is the way to go.
Okay.
So we're getting rid of a sliding fee to a
Yes.
flat fee. Maybe, Sam, you could make that clear in the paper to help people that what was once a sliding fee that maybe could be a couple $100 now is only $60.
Yeah, I issued one yesterday. It came out to be $100. Under this, it'd only be $60.
Okay.
Good.
Didn't you tell them to wait a couple days?
I told them they didn't want to wait. They want to
I
work.
know. Okay. Any other questions?
So, thank you.
Okay, thanks. Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2015-35, appointment to the Zoning Hearing Board, Ronald Radke.
Present?
Second.
On the question? No questions? Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes.
Uh,
Mundy.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2015-36, reappointment to the Downtown Overlay District Review Committee, Peg Bono.
I'll present.
Second.
On the question? Roll call.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Resolution 2015-37, reappointment to the Hazleton Housing Authority, Ann Sullivan.
I'll present.
Second.
On the question? Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Resolution 2015-38, appointment to the Shade Tree Commission, Frank Skokowski.
Present.
Okay. I'll second.
On the question? Roll call.
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Mundy.
Yes. Next, the resolution 2015-39, appointment to the Sewer Authority, Ted Sherrock, or appointment to the Sewer Authority.
Presented.
Well, okay, you're going to present Ted Sherrock?
Yep.
Okay. I'll second that. On the question? Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Yes.
Sosar,
Yes.
Monday.
Yes. Next is Resolution 2015-40, authorizing and directing the mayor to sign and submit PennDOT's application for traffic signal approval on behalf of the Hazleton Area School District for its Safe Routes to School project for the Heights Terrace Elementary School, Middle School.
Anybody here?
I'll
Yes,
present.
he's here. Wait, we have to,
Present it.
you-
I'll
Jeff
present.
presented, I'll second it. On the question, you can come to the podium. Just state your name and your title.
My name is Ed Gunshore. I'm a project manager at the Hazleton Area School District. And the intent of PennDOT is to make improvements to curbs and sidewalks in designated areas to make it safer for the students that would be walking to Heights Terrace Elementary School. PennDOT requires that the city authorize the installation of any type of signalization, and that is the reason for this resolution. We need the mayor's approval in order for the project to progress. At this time, there are actually 2 of these flashing signals that are in operation now, and we will be adding 1 more and replacing the 2 existing with energy-efficient LED flashing signals that warn that school is in session and to slow down. The improvements are being made entirely by PennDOT, and it covers the intersection of Chapel and Church Street, the intersection of Beach and Church, Noble and Church Street, and Beach Street and Poplar Street. And also there will be improvements at the intersection of Samuels Avenue and Poplar Street.
Okay. Who owns the property where the walkways are?
They're in the public right-of-way.
The public right-of-ways? Okay.
Yes.
The DePiero doesn't own them, does he?
What's that?
DePiero doesn't own them?
No.
Or they're public
Yeah,
right-of-ways?
the city.
Okay, so you're just replacing 2 flashing signals that are already there, and you're putting another set?
Another signal. And
Where's the other set going to go?
the other set's going to go at Beach and Poplar Street. Or I'm sorry, at Beach and Church Street. And the project also includes the replacement of curbs and sidewalks.
You're replacing curbs and sidewalks?
sidewalks, yes.
Okay. Are they going to start them right away?
They're hoping to bid the project in April.
Okay. Okay, so you need this done right away?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, these are just for the flashing lights, though. This
Yeah,
is not
this,
for
we
the
just need the
walkway.
approval for the flashing lights.
Flashing
Everything else is being reviewed and approved by PennDOT.
Okay. Any other questions?
Go
ahead, Jeff.
One question for the chief.
Go ahead.
Come on up.
Just trying to motion to you that when this was submitted, it's already been reviewed by our department, and we're supportive of it. It's already been approved
Okay,
by the police department.
okay.
Chief, time-wise on this, do those flashing lights, I think, from everywhere that I've traveled before, don't they flash even on the weekends or that? Or is there something that can be done as far as timers anymore?
The
That
timers-
causes problems sometimes.
Yeah, the timers are out of sequence, so the newer ones...
The new ones will
yeah,
have it.
they'll have new timers,
Okay.
better hardware, and LED lights.
Okay, thank you.
They won't flash in the summertime.
No.
Okay, thank
They
you.
do now.
That's just a programming problem.
They do not
Okay,
now.
thank you,
Okay.
thank you. Roll call?
Cassatt,
Yes.
Mope,
Abstain.
Sosar,
Yes,
Monday.
Yes. That's it for resolutions. Comments from the audience?
Hi, my name is Joe Yaskevich. The thing I would like to bring up or have some questions about is this BYOB thing. I don't truly kind of understand everything, but I think some things better be looked into more. Look into more before the city could be sued, other people could be sued. The thing with the $25 fee, I have no problem with the church or anything like that. Just to open up another bar and have a BYOB. I own a bar. It's in West Hazleton. I live in Hazleton. There's been enough damage done to the local bars the way it is with these six-pack stores, and here's another problem coming up with the BYOB with a fee of $25. I feel you'll have every time Dick and Harry applying one for the garage, their basement, everything like that. There's so much money that's invested by a bar owner to have a liquor license. Jeff should know he was part of a bar. I just think you're headed for a lot of trouble. There's so many things that are going on in these places. I've been to a couple just to see what goes on. And yes, I understand the police are going to so-called look into these places and everything else like that. And I think the police are doing a fantastic job in this town. They're doing their best they can with what they have. You're talking about hiring new or more officers to control the trouble that's in this town, and I think these BYOBs are going to bring more trouble. I just don't fully understand why all of a sudden all these BYOBs are coming up. I can understand, say, like a Martin's restaurant, BYOB, fine. It's a beautiful place to go eat. I don't even know the gentleman. I've been there before. There's no problem there. The different restaurants, okay, but just to come in and I want to have a BYOB because I want to open up a place in my basement and all I have to do is pay $25 and show you that I have $1 million insurance policy. Who's liable for if somebody leaves that premises and has an accident? Who are they going to go back on? They're going to go back on the owner of the building, and if the owner of the building doesn't have enough money, guess what? Who passed it? The council of Hazleton.
Could I say something once? I think you're not realizing this, that they could have, we're regulating BYOBs now because they need to be. They could have set something up, because we didn't regulate them, they could have set them up anyway without our regulation, but now we're going to regulate them, and our restrictive hours are 11 o'clock. I think that'll put a damper on any ones that are giving us problems that go beyond 11 or that are staying open till 4 or 5 o'clock. So I think our hour restrictions will put a damper on any BYOBs that we might have some problems with. But as far as people opening up BYOBs, a lot of them are for restaurants, and that's mainly what they're for, mainly in a lot of areas. So I don't think we're going to have a proliferation of BYOBs because we're regulating them.
Right.
And I think with these restrictive hours, I think are going to stop some of the places that we've had some problems with.
But see, what I'm saying is there's no more liquor licenses out there, so this is a way to go around it and open up more restaurants. I'm going to open up a hamburger shop and a hot dog shop, and I'm going to apply for a BYOB.
They could have done that before. They could have opened before. The restaurants are open. There was no regulation. Now we're regulating them, so I don't think we're going to have more of them.
Okay.
I think what we passed is to try and regulate them and make sure that they're run properly and that they have the proper insurance. And I think the restrictive on the 11 o'clock closings, I think is going to have an effect on some clubs that we might have problems with.
Like the hookah bars that are going on in town.
I'm not pointing out anyone, but,
no, but
I think this 11 o'clock will solve some of our problems.
Okay, and then who's going to stop all the so-called bull that's going on in some of these places now? If you haven't been to one, I went to one because of owning a bar. I just wanted to see what it was like. The things that I saw go on in these places are unbelievable. And the citizens of Hazleton don't need any more problems.
Yeah.
And I think it's just promoting it because, of course, there's alcohol involved.
Yeah.
I kind of figured something out as far as on paperwork where it'd be pretty worth me giving up my liquor license and apply for BYOB because there's so many different things that aren't under BYOB that's under Liquor Control Board law. Just say the ASCAP, the BMI, and I mean, I pay $4,200 a year to have those 3 licenses. You don't have to pay anything for those licenses with a BYOB. I feel it's not fair to a bar owner who's put his life, his money into his career, just like the six-pack stores. Pantry Quick, and I have nothing against anybody, so don't take me wrong, but a Pantry Quick bought a Pantry Quick to sell milks, eggs, whatever they have in there. All of a sudden, out comes this license. So yeah, apply for a beer license. Yeah, if I had to rely on making a living or keeping my bar open on six-packs, I'm already in trouble. But what I'm saying, it took a piece of the pie away from not only me, but other bar owners. And I feel this is going to take another piece of the pie away. I pay a lot of insurance a year for liability between all this, and you have people, well, instead of going to this bar, Cassatt's, Jonathan's, S, whatever, let's go to dinner, we're going to take two bottles of wine. Well, after 2 bottles of wine, you better go home because then you're under the thing of getting a DUI, and it's just a wrong thing. But, okay, there's one more.
In other cities where this has been passed, it's helped them and alleviated a problem that they had with establishments that were open late hours.
Okay.
So this has worked in other cities.
Well, I agree with you 100% there.
Deal here.
Yeah, instead of 5, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. The other thing I wanted to ask you, which maybe I don't understand, the thing with this permit, as far as, like I said, I have nothing against the churches, fire halls, whatever. That's great for them. But they still have to go through the Liquor Control Board also to be able to serve liquor.
No.
Yeah, they do, because I was involved.
Only if they're selling it. If they're selling it, they have to go through the LCB.
Okay.
If the BYOB, the LCB does not control at all.
Okay, let me see if I get this right. So if you're having a church function,
Wait,
100 people come to this function. 100 people could bring their own booze at that church function.
Yes, they can. It's not right. Trust me, I understand the bar business, and I wouldn't do anything to hurt them.
No. And then you have to also look into who's reliable. If that church is having a church function on St. Mary, St. Peter, St. Paul, whatever its grounds, if somebody leaves there and has an accident, who's liable? They came from on your property.
The church is responsible.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
But usually the church picnics, they do get a special occasion license, the one-time special.
I understand that. They had to go through the Liquor Control Board for that.
For that they do because they're selling it.
Yeah.
When this is a more special event, like if they did a night at the races and they did it at a place and they wanted to bring it in, it would be
a BYOB.
The BYOBs, if they want to do a spaghetti dinner, then that's where this fee would come in. The church picnics, when they have them in the summer, they have to go through the LCB because they're actually selling.
They're selling it, right?
Selling
I understand that. Yeah.
That's a different, that.
Okay.
But the way it was now was you have a restaurant, you could allow, even your place, you could allow me to bring my own alcohol in. If you're that nice and you want me to say, hey, you could bring in a special bottle of wine, I could come to your place and bring.
You have to buy. No, you can't. You have to buy it through the liquor lot or through my. Yeah, you do. Because I checked on it already. Because we're not arguing now. Because I went, I called the Liquor Control Board and said, how are these bars selling bottles over the bar? I said, I thought that was against the Liquor Control Board. The Liquor Control Board agents said, if you sell that bottle for the price you pay for it, you're in big trouble. But you can sell a bottle over the bar, but if you get $4 a shot, you have to figure out how many shots are in that bottle, and if you charge for that. So as far as bringing your own wine in, you can't do that.
You can't.
No.
Yes, you can.
What bar owner would allow that?
No, nobody would, but you can. I'm just telling you could.
Okay.
I wouldn't. I mean,
why? Okay. And then the only other thing I had to, which I think you explained before, why was the fee lowered from $250 to $25?
Well, because the BYOBs like Martin's, Alta,
okay,
those would they would come under
Oh,
those.
okay.
So we don't want to hurt.
No, I understand. Okay.
That might hurt some of the business.
That's only the fee. Before,
See,
they didn't pay anything before.
Yeah. To be honest with you, that's what really caught my eye. When I saw that, oh my God, that's where I come up with every time Dick and Harry's going to apply for one, $25. Wow, let's go get one.
Right.
But I mean, if it's for the restaurants,
that's why I spoke to you before about it.
But,
Eddie's, which used to be Ferdinand's, that's a BYOB.
Yeah.
I mean, we're
But they would
trying to
still
hurt
have
the
to pass
restaurant.
all the restaurant qualifications. You can't just open it in your house.
Yeah.
You have to be, you have to have a business license, you have to go through the health inspection, you have to go through all, so it's not
Okay.
like I could just open a $25, it's not taking the place of the liquor license.
Okay.
You still have to become the restaurant, and then add the other stuff into it. And then you apply for the BYOB, which then you cut your hours of operation to 11 to 11.
Okay. Okay, well, thanks for listening to me. I understand a lot. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Dominic Tellerico, Garfield Street, Hazleton. Hi. Does that ordinance limit the amount of hookah lounges the city can have?
No, you can't,
it
I don't think you could
doesn't-
regulate
it doesn't
businesses
target.
like that. We can't do that.
They
We're-
could have a-
we're
they could have a hookah
regulating
lounge.
The BYOB, which they come under, and we're, we're
Only if they
restricting
only if
them.
they allow the alcohol in. You can't target. We're not targeting hookah bars. We're allowing anybody that brings alcohol in. If a hookah bar wants to stay open without any alcohol, they could stay open.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the number of hookah lounges in the city.
No, we can't target. You can't
No,
target.
City in
business.
Michigan did do that.
What's that, Dominic?
A city in Michigan did limit the number of hookah lounges the city could have.
That's something maybe that we could look at if we continue to have any
I
problems.
don't think we should
with-
target a
with any-
business,
Yeah, I
a
know.
special type of business. You can't target.
Go ahead, Mike. You want to say something? What?
Yeah.
There's only one now.
Well,
Okay.
I'm thinking of this preemptively before there's 10.
I know, Dominic. Well, we think our ordinance is going to solve a lot of problems. It's going to solve this problem.
It's a very strong ordinance.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to make you aware of this, and I don't know if any of it's fact, but I talked to more than one resident. They spoke to a lawyer that said he could shut it down for $4,000, and they're considering collecting money to do that. Just so you're aware of it.
Well,
It'll help.
I guess you can do that, but we think this is gonna help.
Yeah.
Help solve.
I
our
agree with
problem.
you. I agree it will help.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I don't know what one murder investigation costs or, but
And they may be able to take courses of action that we can't. I understand what you're saying. We're doing the best that we can. This is obviously something that evolves. We're doing the best that we can right now, but if there are others who are interested in taking some other kind of action, I can understand that.
I just want to ask this as a question. You don't believe it would be a good idea to limit them now before there is more?
I don't think we're allowed to.
We're allowed to. I mean, I don't know what goes on in Michigan. It's a different
There would
state.
probably
I mean,
be.
it's happened, other
Yeah, I think
municipalities
in-
have passed ordinances limiting the amount of,
And we're not targeting a certain business. We're trying to do is limit the hours.
We're just
and then
regulating the BYOBs.
the problems away because
I
the
mean,
hours are
once
not
you
limited.
start to say you could have so many whatever lounges, then how far is that? How many restaurants? We're going to limit how many restaurants we have?
well, I think it's a completely different issue. We're going to limit the amount of restaurants. We have problems with this one that we have. So if we had 10, would we be able to handle it?
Yeah.
Would the police be able to handle that?
You can't say all 10 businesses are going to be bad. I mean,
Okay. Well, I had to ask.
We think that
No,
we think this is going to solve a lot of the problems.
Yes.
that
All right, thank
we've
you.
had. Thanks, Tom.
I think what he's trying to say is like a liquor control board has the right to deny anybody a liquor license, and it has to be brought in front of council if they're going to accept that owner to open up a bar with a liquor license. You as a council can say, no, we're not going to allow another liquor license in this town.
You're right. We
Yes.
could.
Right.
And I think that's what he's trying to say.
right,
If you
you're
have the
right,
right
Joe.
to say no to a
But-
liquor license,
right.
how
Hookah-
can you
hookah's
say you
not
don't have a
regulated by the
decision
state.
on the
You're right.
But, yeah,
the so-called hookah bar?
Right.
Hookah's not regulated by the state. If it was regulated by the state, it would be a different. The hookah itself is not regulated by the state. Alcohol is.
Okay.
That's why there's a certain number of
Okay.
licenses available. Right now, the city's at its max. We cannot let another bar come in without coming to council and getting a special exemption. I think we had that 2 years ago. Up in the Heights, they wanted it, and we said
Yeah.
no.
Okay. The other thing is, I wanted to ask you what you just said about the hookah bar as far as the hours. You said they
Not-
can only
not hookah
serve,
bars.
or whatever. No, they can only serve till what?
BYOBs have to stop at 11 o'clock,
11 o'clock. But you said that they could stay there all night if they wanted to.
as long as there's no alcohol. They cannot allow
And,
alcohol after
and who's going to
11.
watch over that?
Our police department.
Do you think? No, it's not knocking the police department now.
I mean, the city will regulate it.
No, but the thing is, okay, there's 50 of us in this bar that we had to stop drinking at 11 o'clock. We locked the doors. You don't.
Well, it's the same thing with a bar room. At 2 o'clock.
No, but the penalties are severe. I
Well,
mean,
they'll lose their license. There's penalties.
okay.
It'll.
Because why I'm saying this, because I know some behind the scenes that are going on at these
Absolutely.
places, the alcohol behind the back room and all that stuff like that. You get a place in town that is only open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 4 or 5 days out of the week, and they were the 6th in the state of purchasing liquor. No possible way. The Woodlands doesn't sell that kind of. And the best week I had for Christmas, New Year's, I spent $1,800 for liquor for that 1 week for Christmas and New Year's Eve, and I multiplied that. If I got liquor that quantity of liquor every week for 52 weeks, it didn't come anywhere near what this place got rid of.
I saw that report.
Okay.
I understand.
Okay, thanks again.
Thanks, Joe.
Any other questions, comments from the audience? Teddy?
Ted Sherrock, Hazleton. I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the council for their appointing me to the sewer authority. I promise you I'll do my very best not to embarrass the city or the administration, and I guess most important to
Keep our rates down.
make my decisions in favor of the ratepayers for the city of Hazleton, of which those board members are also ratepayers. But again, thank you for your confidence, and I'll try to do my very best. I know I have large shoes to fill in replacing Jeff. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments from the audience?
Chief?
Thank you. I think it's important, after hearing how passionate the community is, that I publicly acknowledge and thank City Council. I know that Councilman Cassatt himself had a BYOB ordinance. We've all spent a lot of time pouring through this, and it's been at the police department's request that City Council provide us with some tools to try and quell some of these disturbances. I'm proud of this ordinance. I think that specifically we have made sure that we do not target any particular business and that we just try to start to give the police department the tools. And I would like to publicly acknowledge and thank all of you for your support and for this ordinance, because I truly do feel personally and professionally that this will do us a lot of good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Go ahead, Homer.
Two quick questions. Do the businesses that are currently operating as hookah lounges have business licenses in the city at this present time?
Yes.
Okay. The other question is, do we have areas that are zoned in the city for adult businesses, or is that still, that would have to be determined if somebody wanted to open that? I know you made a no nudity as part of the BYOB, but is there such an area which we have to, by federal law, have an area that would be allowed to be, that kind of...
You have to allow it in some part of the city.
And do we have a section that's been designated yet?
We have sections that exclude it.
But not prohibit. Is it the opposite? I thought you had
There's sections out there.
they had a section that it would be
Yes.
zoned. What sections of the city are zoned? You don't know.
I know.
You know you're not going to let us know. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Comments from the mayor? Not here. Comments from junior council? Anybody like to make a comment from junior council?
I think the BYOB is a good idea. There's restaurants and stuff like Martin to close for lunch recently, so I think this will do a lot of good for them.
Can't hear him.
That's all I have.
Okay. He said it would do a lot of good, the BYOB. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speak up.
Any other comments?
Yeah, I just have a question about the ordinance 2015-3. When it says here violation tickets, what is that, like any kind of violation? I just want to understand,
That's the violations of the ordinance that comes under.
And that's 2013.
Okay.
All I would say is that I definitely agree with the city council and my fellow junior and driver. I think this ordinance that deals with the alcohol is definitely going to do good for the city because it's going to help regulate and maybe solve some issues that have been going on in the background. So I'm looking forward to getting better around the city. So I think it's a good idea.
Thank you. Thank you. Comments from council? Jeff, do you want to?
I want to thank the chief and council for working together on that ordinance. I definitely wouldn't do anything that would hurt the restaurants or the bar out there now. I know some of the people think that my ideas are off the wall and out there, but we have these problems in town now. Maybe they're not publicly known, but there are a lot of things going on that need to be addressed before they get totally out of control. So I really think we do need to keep taking a proactive approach and to improve the quality of life, and hopefully bring a couple more ordinances up soon. I mean, I know I'm going to bring back the adult business again, and I really think we need to target the food vending trucks and some yard sales, because if you think these issues aren't out there, you could just search YouTube for Hazleton and watch them, and you'll see what goes on at these places. These issues are there. If you follow the social media, the issues are on there, and we do have these issues going on in town. They're just not well known. But I just want to say thanks to everybody for coming.
Thanks, Jeff. You want to go? Or?
Doesn't matter.
Oh, thank you for everybody for coming. I think this shows, again, well, we can have some type of differing opinions at times. When you put your minds together and you talk it out, you can come up with viable solutions. There are always going to be things that are a work in progress, but and we need to hear from you because of that. We always need to continue to hear what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. But the fact is that people got together, worked things on out, and it's made a difference. And hopefully it will continue to make a difference. I think that's the most important thing, and unfortunately sometimes, to bring up a sour subject, sometimes that doesn't happen, case in point. But nonetheless, thank you. Be very careful. Enjoy the warm weather, finally. But be just very, very careful, because as this freezes at nighttime, it gets a little slippery, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt. So thank you for coming, but be careful.
Thanks.
Oh, I concur with Dr. Salser and Jeff. I think what we did, even if it's not complete, because this is something new that we're trying with this BYOB, but it can be tweaked and altered down the road. But at least it gives us a starting point, and it's better than what we haven't had anything, okay? So they've been, as they said, running without any kind of guidelines, any control or anything like that. So this will now give us at least a foothold, and then if it needs to be tweaked, or if you see that there's a problem with it, come to us, then we will change and do whatever needs to be done. I thank everybody for coming. I thank the people that came to the podium tonight especially, and as David said, voiced your opinions. Sometimes, because there isn't a communication all the time with the public, you know, you don't call us and talk to us, which I'm there all the time to be called, and you voice your opinion, and then we give our replies, then there's an understanding that goes on. It's the communication that's important. We try to do everything that's to our best knowledge beneficial for everybody, not to hurt anybody, and try to do it as fair as we can. So by you coming up, you actually help us, because maybe there's something that we didn't think about and that now we can focus on. So anytime anybody has any input like that, it is very productive, and we thank you for it. And thanks for coming out on this miserable night, because it was raining when I came, and stay dry and go home safely.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I wanted to bring up.
Go ahead.
I don't mean to be a pain, but, you know, being a business person, with this, I know it hasn't been brought up yet about this, what is it called, food? The trailers or whatever?
Trucks.
Yeah, I'd like you, whenever you talk about that, to take in consideration the people that pay mortgages and insurance and all that for restaurants, where all you have to do is put
Yes.
just say $2,000 into a jalopy, fix it up into serving food and everything. Because you people, I've read the papers and I see where council is always trying to encourage people to support downtown, support the business people and everything else like that. And I agree 100% with you. These people that have these trucks over in this lot, over in that street, over wherever they are, they're not paying taxes for a building, mortgage for a building, and insurances for a building.
Yeah.
We're one step ahead of you. We've already considered what you said, so thank you.
Okay, I just have one thing to say. Thanks everybody for coming to the meeting. Be careful going home. I think this ordinance that we passed, it's worked at other cities, and I think it'll help solve some of the problems that we've had. We just have to give give our chief the tools to work it, and I think it'll be fine. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
About your dad.
Yes, sorry. And how's Maureen doing?
What's up? To Lisa? Well, I'll give him to her. 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 I'll give him to her.